Hi everybody and welcome back to my creative journey. This is Petra speaking, and today I'm sitting in my kitchen and I have decided to, show you my paintings, or some of them anyway, a few of them. And this is actually quite hard for me. It feels like I'm really revealing too much of myself for some reason. As I said in another video, it feels really hard to do the first paintbrush thing in a video. It feels tough. It feels like I show you too much of myself. It shows my soul in some way. And it feels like when you do paintings, you also get criticism. That's sort of one of the things that comes with it. This is my first step to showing you when I actually paint. So I'm thinking that I will show you a few paintings over here. I think it's 5 or something like that. And I will tell you how I made them. And I hope that you can enjoy that. I am an abstract painter. I really like painting things. Well, I don't like painting things. I just want to paint and see what happens with it. I want to see what I can find in my paintings when I'm done. So I'm an abstract painter and I use acrylic paint. When I started painting many years ago, I used watercolors a lot more, and I thought that was fun. But then I started using the acrylics instead, and I haven't. Well, I really like those. So let's start. I'm a bit nervous. It feels like I'm showing you my heart in some way. So please be kind with me. Here it comes. This is one of my early paintings. As you can see, have created some sort of bushfire perhaps, or a very dramatic sunset or something, but I think it's actually more like a bush fire or something like that. I really like this painting. This is one of my first. I was inspired of something that I saw on YouTube or Pinterest or something like that, and I wanted to try it out. I'm a very fast painter. I don't take a lot of time putting them together. They usually just take, about 15-20, perhaps 30 minutes. This is not a very big one. It's 40 by 40 centimeters. And as you can see, what I really like about this picture, or this painting, is the water. The reflections you can see in the water. I know that it isn't accurate. Well, and that's because I never paint with any thought. I just smack on a lot of color and then we'll see how it turns out. So when I started doing the background, the light and the yellow and the red and the green and eventually also blue, that was the start of it. I didn't have any particular thought about how I wanted it to turn out. And then when I had the background laid out for me, I just sort of, I draw the line, this line, and then it started coming together. That's how I usually work. I like that you can see on the left and the right that there is some sort of tree, or perhaps some sort of mountain or cliffs or whatever it is. I like that. You can sort of notice them, but they're not so prominent. I find that really, well, I think that's a nice thing about this painting. So let's take a look at another painting. Whoops, sorry. Here we have another painting that I just sort of, I wanted to, well, I was doing the tunneling. That was the start of this painting. I was doing the sweepy motions in the circular way that sort of created a tunnel. That wasn't what I had expected when I started the painting. As always, I didn't have a lot of thought. I just created my background and then made the whole painting come alive, so to speak. I wanted to use a palette knife, one of my first times, I think. And then I just started to lay out the colors. And this is how it turned out. It actually looks to me like a boat with some people in it, and there's wind in the sails, and it looks like they're coming out of a cave or something. It's a very mysterious place they're in. And you can see, I like this, you can see the sun reflecting in the water over here. You can also see in this corner that I, just as when I'm doing my art journal, I really like the black. I want to have black in my paintings. What I don't like about this painting is that you can really see that I haven't a thick layer of paint. But when I feel that I'm done with a painting, I usually just stop. I never come back and try and fix things. I let them just play out, so to speak, let them come alive on the canvas. So let's look at another one. This is actually quite hard for me to show you my paintings. When I had done the boat painting, I wanted to try and do that circular motion in the background once again. And this is how it turned out. Also, I've used my palette knife. I actually named this painting. I don't usually do that, but this one is called The Black Hole, because that's how I feel when I look at this painting. It looks like there has been a city or something, perhaps a whole planet, and it's just sucking into the little black dot in the middle. I know that a black hole is supposed to be a black hole. This sort of feels more like a whirlwind perhaps, but I still named it my black hole. You can see all the shredded ground over here. It's ripped into pieces, sucked into the middle. I like this part as well. You can see the building sort of crumbling into pieces over here. The nice thing about abstract paintings is that there is actually nothing that's correct. You can look at a painting and build your own story about it. So when I look at it, this is what I see, but it's not, I'm not surprised if you see something else. I like that. The abstract makes me happy, sort of, because you can, like I said, build stories from them. Let's take another one. This is a painting that I also think this is actually the first one that I used my palette knife. I have done this whole painting only with my palette knife. I haven't used a brush at all. Again, not as thick layer of color as I would like. I always paint with acrylics, and these are quite thin. But I sort of like how it turned out. Can you see the man in the mist? It's a really rainy and cloudy day, and there's a man in the mist. He's a bit suspicious over there. But the sun is coming, so perhaps we can see him in a while. I'm not sure what the black parts are in this picture. Perhaps some strange rocks or some bushes or something. I'm not sure. Sort of like a scene from a movie, I think, this painting. For me, anyway. As I said, this is my truth. You don't have to think at all what I'm thinking. So I only have one more painting to show you today. It's a big one. It's 80 by 80 centimeters. So we're going to have to back up a bit so you can see it. Let's take away that one first and then lift this one up. And then we'll see. Yes, we still see it. Again, I was a bit stuck for a while with doing these sort of house-like shapes. I'm not sure what they are in this painting. I like the colors. I like that there's pink or purple. It's a really abstract painting. I was actually trying from the beginning to do some sort of square over here with my palette knife, and then it didn't feel well. It didn't feel good, so I wiped it out with my brush as much as I could. As I said, I never return to my paintings. I always just do them in one stroke, so to speak. I usually use the exact same brush for my entire painting. I dip it in different colors and I mix colors, and never do I clean my brush. I do that when I'm finished. I like knowing that things just turn out to be. I like that. The colors turn out as they did. And usually I like the results. This guy over here reminds me of some sort of waiter. It looks like he's standing here on the shore behind a rock and he's holding a tray in his hand. Why he's there, I have no idea. It's sort of like a weird mountain over here. Perhaps this is another planet or something. You don't know. I don't know. You have to use your imagination. Okay, this was, as I said, a bit hard for me to show you my paintings. It feels like as soon as you speak of art, there is some sort of judgment going on. When I do scrapbooking or when I do art journaling or my bullet journal, people, well, they seem to expect me to be doing it in some sort of way, but they don't blame me if it doesn't turn out as they think it should. But when it comes to art, I feel like there could be a lot of judgment. I have never ever said that I was a great painter or a good painter or even just mediocre, but I like to paint. And I think that if you really like doing something, you should be doing it, even though it's just for you. Would I like to sell some paintings? Of course. I would be that's a long life dream of mine, to be a full-time artist and living by selling my paintings. But that's only a dream, I think. That will never happen. But I can still do my paintings for me to enjoy at the moment and feel at peace when I'm doing it. Just as any art or, well, yes, creative stuff in my life, I find that painting makes me calm down. It's my way of reconnecting, booting my brain and all that stuff. So don't judge me too hard, but you may tell me something. If you saw something you liked, please tell me. But I really hope that you have enjoyed this video and that I will see you in my next one. It will be either with art journal or my setup for June. I'm not really sure what comes first, but I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.